The last thing I want to talk about here is this, is that I realized as I studied education, I started studying education at a later time when I was about 38 years old, and I realized that each and every one of us was a genius, except in school. There are certain people, like I had a classmate who was considered a genius in school. This guy could do quantum physics and all that when he was in kindergarten. The trouble is he couldn't tie his shoelaces. How many people knew people like that? You know, they're absolute, and they are geniuses in school, but in the real world, they're incompetent. This guy didn't know his left hand from his right hand. You know, we used to play baseball, and I said, how can he be a genius? He doesn't know. He could never figure out what the glove went in his left hand or his right hand. But he was a genius. You know, I said, how can he be a genius? He can't pitch, can't bat, you know, it's like this. So I started to realize that genius, that every one of us had it. And what genius stands for is this here. The genie, the magic. And so what I say to this is this, you know, God created every animal on earth, every species to have a special advantage. For instance, birds can fly, cheetahs run fast, and cockroaches, you can't kill them. You know? So if animals have special advantages, so does each and every one of us. For example, Tiger Woods is a genius in the environment called the golf course. Tiger Woods would not be a genius as a jockey. He's just too big. I would definitely not be a jockey. You know what I mean, like this? And you look at Mick Jagger. He went to school to be an accountant, but he became a billionaire as a Rolling Stone. The thing I want to leave you with tonight, ladies and gentlemen, is have the courage to find that environment, like Tiger Woods on the golf course, Mick Jagger as a Rolling Stone, Oprah in front of television. Find that spot where your genius comes out. That's what intelligence is. My genius was crushed in school. I was labeled stupid and dyslexic and no attention and jumping around all the time. My genius did not come out in the corporate world. I do not like being told what to do and kissing you-know-what to get the corporate ladder. I do not do that stuff well. I do well on the streets. Does that make sense, you guys here? That's where my genius came out. And the other thing is that I flunked out of school twice because I could not write. And I do not read that well yet. But only, no, it's true. I flunked when I was 15 and I flunked out when I was 17. And today I have one of the top 3 books in the history of the New York Times. I've been on the New York Times bestseller list for over 5 years now. Only 2 books have beat me. One of them is The Joy of Sex. That might take a while to beat. So when I flunked out of school, and now I have a New York Times bestseller for 5 years, I'm still a lousy writer. People say, you can't write. I say, you sound like my English teacher. I did graduate. I have a Bachelor of Science degree and all that. I went to a very prestigious school here in New York. But the point here is this, you have to find where your genius comes out. That makes sense, you guys here? And after I flunked out of school and then this book I was scarred for the longest time. I really thought I was stupid. It pained me. Here's my father, the superintendent of education, and his son's a moron. You know what I mean? So what I'm thinking about, if those school teachers are still alive, I'm going to look them up on 1-800-SEARCH or something. I'm going to find their names. I'm going to mail them a copy of my book, page by page, say, here it is. But the point here is this, I didn't find what I was good at until I had the courage to find the environment when my genius came out. Does that make sense, you guys here? And I ask you to do that. Intelligence is don't do as you're told. Go where you know your genius can come out. It's not easy. Tiger Woods practices like a wild man to get his genius to come out. I practice I write like crazy. I'm not a good writer. Does that make sense, you guys here? It's not easy. If you think it's easy, this is not it. But you and every one of you at home, you need to find, or I recommend finding where your genius lies. What environment do you come the best in? Because if you look at this picture over here of this young boy, I think this is really it. That's really what it is. Every child is born with a genius. I did not know when I was 9 years old playing Monopoly that I was seeing the future. When I played Monopoly, I saw that I could become a rich man. Whereas my poor dad kept saying, go back to school. So I'd like to leave you with this. Have the courage to find that environment. The magic lamp is your environment. Tiger Woods, golf course. Mick Jagger, Rolling Stone. Oprah, television. Have the courage to find that environment where you rub the magic lamp and your genius comes out. The most important thing is do what you know God gave you the best genius for. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.